guys, and today we are here with my round 4 of the Undercity Colosseum tournament, and today we are playing, I can't remember the name off the top of my head, Drakara, I'm going to go with, and yeah, they're playing green-black mid-range, pretty standard deck. He's kind of running a very, I don't want to say unoriginal because it sounds negative, but a very, your cookie cutter version of the deck, the wild growth walkers, bunch of explode creatures, rather than stupid Cabra and then a couple of the planeswalkers, Vivian Reed, Doom Whisperer, that kind of stuff as the top end. People in theory say the Drake deck is favoured versus green black, but to be honest, I've not found that to be the case. Wild Growth Roker, if you do not answer it, kind of goes out of control, and then they have a lot of exile, like Vraska's Contempts for your Phoenixes, and then of course they've got Chupacabra for your Drakes, which is a pretty powerful trade in there on their behalf. So I don't think the matchup's unwinnable or anything, but I did go into this with the expectation that it was going to be a tough match. What I didn't expect is, well, I won't spoil anything, but let's just play the game here. And I'll put it this way: I don't have to talk about many decisions I misplayed in this very first one anyway, or likewise my opponent misplayed. It was a very decisive game. Hands again, pretty unexciting, but it is a keep with Chartacos and Opt. The chance I find a red mana is pretty much guaranteed, and then sure enough, draw one before I even need to cast the Opt. He goes for Wild Growth Roker, but there's not, and then as soon as he plays a Wild Growth, I'm now digging for a Lava Coil. There's an argument for keeping the Opt to try and, it would let me cast this Phoenix quicker because it's a cheap 1 mana instant. But I was kind of digging for the Lava Coil there. Unfortunately, I don't find it. I find a bunch more charter courses. And so I'm thinking, if I start looting my way into more and more Drakes, maybe I can outrace him here. He plays a second Wild Growth, which is going to be a problem if he has any Explode creatures in hand. I can find another Drake, but it's not really doing much at this point. I just play another charter course. I'm just trying to bin Phoenixes at this point. Don't hit Phoenix. I do hit the Lava Call, but unfortunately, don't have the mana to cast it. I think I just decided to bin a charter course here. It might have been a land. I can't remember. No, I just got rid of a charter course, and I'm hoping to be able to Lava Coil before he plays an Explode creature, and then he plays the third Wild Growth Walker. So at this point, Lava Coil doesn't really do much because he's still going to gain a huge amount of life even if I do kill the creature. So I just kind of have to hope I kill him before he draws any Explode creatures at this point. Do have a 4/4 Drake, so that's not beyond the realms of possibility. Unfortunately, there's the Jade Light Ranger. I give him the nice because, I mean, you'll look at his life total, he's on 20 at the minute. And then when these triggers resolve, he'll be on significantly more than 20. Yeah, he goes all the way up to 38 life. And he's scryed a Jade Light Ranger at the top of his deck. And I think at this point the game's over. I'm just going through the motions. I don't run a Star of Extinction to something main deck, and there's no way I'm going to be able to race him here. So I'm just kind of, I'm trying to think of my outs, but I don't think I have any. I think I end up just going for the second Crackling Drake and hold up dive down. But yeah, my opponent's going to be on like, there's no way I could have beaten this draw. I would have needed to have killed his Wild Growth Walkers. Unfortunately, I did not have the answers for them, and yeah, I did enjoy this game though. For such a decisively beat down of a game, I'll always take losing in dramatic style like this. And like I said, I mean, I'm just kind of going through the motions game one here, playing it out for posterity. You never know. Maybe I accidentally brought a Star of Extinction and forgot to sideboard it out, and my opponent won't notice, and I'll be able to just cheese a win. You never know. Anything is possible. Of course, he attacks all out. I'm trying to think of any outs here. My kind of thing was Beacon Bolt. Maybe if I could like somehow chain a Beacon Bolt, get something going here. In the end, I kind of go for them blocks. Not even entirely sure if them blocks are right. Maybe I should be doing something else. But I'm on 1 life. Don't really draw anything too exciting here. Digging for that Beacon Bolt, but doesn't do anything. I do actually hit the Beacon Bolt, but I would have needed like an Electromancer, and then in theory, if I'd went like Electromancer into double Beacon Bolt, I could have survived 1 more turn, and then if I top decked like an Entrancing Melody, maybe I get back into this game, but it was not to be, and yeah, that was a pretty decisive game 1. My opponent on 56 life to my 1, as I conceded there. But you know, for sideboarding, believe it or not, I didn't actually side out the Phoenixes. As much as I said my opponent does have exile removal, it is in this matchup you need your flyers. Your flyers are your key. You will never win across the ground. So I do like my Arc-like Phoenix in this matchup. I would be on the play as well because I lost. So they are of course better on the play. I thought it was worth the keep. I think what I ended up doing is I took out my Shocks and I took out my Niv Mizzet. I don't like Niv Mizzet in this matchup again for Chupacabra. And I kind of just brought in the Murmuring Mystics and I think a Ral. And the second Entranced Melody and the second Beacon Bolt and the fourth Lava Coil. Can't remember exactly what I took out, but it was just some mixture of random spells, you know, like Radical Ideas and stuff, I think. As well as that Niv Mizzet. But yeah, that was game 1. I will see you in a sec for game 2. Yep, and we eventually got started a game. I did take a couple of restarts before I was on the play, but we did get there in the end. Hand is kind of missing a way to bin the Arc-like Phoenix, you know, like a Charter Coast, Tormenting Voice, one of them spells, but it's still a keep. I have, of course, Electromancer plus Opt, so I should be able to dig into what I need. Opponent plays a Land Wolf again. Maybe there's an argument for keeping the Opt in case I need a third spell to flip the you know, bring the Arc-like Phoenixes back, but I'm pretty confident with my deck I'll be able to get somewhere close to it. The only answer my opponent really has for a turn 2 Electromancer is Cast Down, so I definitely wanted to keep Electromancer in this matchup because I'm not sure Cast Down stays post board. Because he has to bring in a couple more Wraths, Contempts and stuff like that, so I felt pretty safe with my Electromancer surviving. Opponent does think on this one a while, so I might actually fast forward a bit. I'm not sure if there's a bit of lag or something, but there was a significant portion of time here I thought I was lagging out, so I it was about 30 seconds there I was worried I was lagging out, but now as you can see not really much happened. He just plays a tap land and then goes for the Merfolk Branch Walker. Luckily he didn't have the Wild Growth Walker and yeah, drawn up. I'm kind of hoping to hit a Charter Course here. I think in hindsight it was a mistake to play that land tapped. I should have opted before I decided I was going to play the Steam Vent tapped. Didn't cost me too much because I'm not sure I would have went for it this turn anyway, but I don't know. I mean, yeah, I think it was a mistake. I definitely think it was a mistake in hindsight, but you know, we all make mistakes. I was still kind of blown back by the destruction that was game 1, but things are looking pretty good here. If I draw a second way to discard a Phoenix, I will be pretty happy, but I'm very happy leading with the Crackling Drake. It blocks his board pretty well, and it kind of baits out a Chupacabra, which would give me a turn to go off. And sure enough, I draw into the Radical Idea. Kind of worse for me, my opponent does tap out for a Carnage Tyrant. No answers for that, so my only answer is Racing, and luckily my hand is pretty built for Racing here, because I'm going to be able to bring back both Phoenix here with the Charter Coast into the double Radical Idea. I think on this one for a bit, because I'm trying to think, is there a way for me to discard the third Phoenix and bring it back? In the end, the only thing I can decide is if I draw into a Charter Course, so unfortunately I do not. Again, I'm just thinking about it. It's a tough decision. I'm trying to think if there's a way to bin this third Phoenix, but no, there is not, so I would need specifically Tormenting Voice. I didn't draw it. I mean, there's only 2 in the deck, so not particularly upset there, but yeah, this is a big turn. I get to smack my opponent for 11 in the air. Like I said, flies are just so important in this matchup. I wouldn't be winning if I was trucking through the ground. My opponent does think on this decision for a bit. They have the Cast Down, which I'm surprised stayed in, but I suppose they did want to deal with Electromancers and stuff. And then this is quite a funny turn actually, because despite the life totals at the minute, my opponent does have a very big attack here. And for some reason, I kind of panic here a bit. My opponent plays the Branch Walker and reveals the Cast Down, and then for some reason I get in my head that they have a Cast Down in hand. So I realize the Phoenixes in the air won't be lethal. Obviously, I've got one in my hand. So I'm trying to think, okay, what can I draw into? What can I draw into? So I end up flashing back the Radical Idea, seeing what I draw. And I think about this point, I realize, oh, hang on, the Cast Down's still on the top of the deck. So I kind of BM'd that Radical Idea, but I wasn't really thinking. And luckily I came to my senses before I did something really stupid. But hypothetically, if that Cast Down's in their hand, I do think they win that game, because I would start having to chump and stuff, which wasn't particularly great for me. But we do win game 2, so I made no changes to my deck. Both games were fairly uneventful. Normally I would expect this matchup to be a bit more grindy. But game 2 went that way, and then I will see you in the decider for game 3. Luckily, this game here was a bit more competitive. Both games we kind of just did our things, and wasn't too many decisions involved, although I did punt a couple times. But this time around, my opponent did have the turn 2 Wild Growth Walker again, but luckily I do have several Lava Cores on hand. So you can kind of see why you need to be able to answer these Wild Growth Walkers. My opponent actually has the second one, but this time again I'm not too worried. I have a Lava Coil. It's only if he has another third one that I would be upset, and get to have a good turn here by going Electromancer into the Lava Coil. Pretty mana efficient turn. Have double opt in hand, so hopefully I can start digging to Phoenixes and stuff to discard them and all that good stuff. Opponent plays the Jade Light, so it's very... I mean, I would have just lost this game if I didn't have them Lava Coils. And he keeps the Chupacabra on top of his library, so... It was a tough decision, because I know this Electron is most likely dead, so decided to go for stuff now. Hit the Phoenix. Unfortunately not going to be able to cast it. But hopefully if I dig in like a Charter Course, which I do. Yeah, I did get lucky there, but again, I did dig quite a few cards there. I would have dug about 4 cards. So... Get to bring back the Phoenix, get to hit for 3, not too exciting. My opponent actually is winning the race, funnily enough, because of the 4-3 in the Chupacabra, but and they're in a 95% of the time they're going to not Chupacabra the Phoenix. They're going to either use it on the Electromancer to try and cripple me, or they're going to go for the save it for a Drake, and I think my opponent went down the save it for a Drake line. Quite unfortunately though, they do keep a Vraska's Contempt on the top of their deck, which is obviously a very good answer to my Phoenix here, so kind of hoping to draw something good. I'll keep the Crackling Drake on top of my deck. Even though it does die to that Chupacabra, it's still one of the best cards right now. So, and by playing the Crackling Drake, I incentivize that Chupacabra, which allows my Phoenix to attack for a couple more turns. Because I mean, this Phoenix, it's already a 7/4, so it's already a must answer threat pretty much. Sure enough, my opponent does go for the Chupacabra, and as you can see, I mean, this race isn't particularly 100% in my favour. My opponent is attacking with 2 4-power creatures, so I mean, I'm already on 8 life. I'm dead next turn if things don't go according to plan. So decided to lead with the Charter Course, obviously, see what I'd hit into. Not really too much exciting, so it's a pretty sticky situation. My opponent does have the answer, my Phoenix in hand. So just digging for more answers here. Don't really hit them a lot of lands here, so it's not looking particularly good. I'll be honest. Beacon Bolt, fantastic draw though there. With the Electromancer, it only costs 2 mana, and I can just start picking off these. I'm debating whether it's worth it or whether I should save it for like a Doom Whisperer, but I need to do this, otherwise I'm just at danger of dying. Could attack with the Electromancer here because I have a lot of mana, but with double Radical Idea, like one in my graveyard and one in hand, it does save me a lot of mana in the long run, so I don't think it's worth trading it off with this Chupacabra there. Sure enough, opponent plays around Dive Down by... maybe I should be representing it by leaving up an island, but you know, too lazy. Go down to 2 here, so pretty dicey turn. I need to keep the pressure up, and I also need to keep... ideally I want to leave +1 blocker behind, so in case he has a removal spell I can still survive this turn. So I do hit a Phoenix, which allows me to bring it back, obviously with all these Radical Ideas and stuff lurking in my graveyard, with the Beacon Bolt as well. So get to kill off his thingy, his Jade Light Ranger. Discard some excess lands at this point. And then I'm going to attack him with the Phoenix in the air. I'm going to have 2 Electromancers to sit back, so my opponent would need like double cast down here or something to kill me. Obviously the game's not particularly over, but it's very important not to overcommit. If I attack with that Electromancer there, yes, I'll get in more damage, but my opponent's 1 removal spell off killing me, so got to play a little bit cautious. I've got the Crackling Drake in hand, which is very powerful threat. My opponent's used 2 of his removal spell answers for it. So yeah, so my opponent was putting a lot of pressure in here. They do scry a Wild Growth Walker to the top, but with this Crackling Drake it's going to be enough to overwhelm it, I think. So it could really go either way here. If he has an answer for this Crackling Drake, I could be in really big trouble, but you know, gotta force him to have. He's already killed 2 answers here, so see what we draw off this Radical Idea. And it's another Arclight Phoenix. Unfortunately, nowhere to get it out this turn, but it should finish the below next turn. Again, play it really safe. Leave three blockers back versus 2 creatures. And Crackling Drake plus double Phoenix will be enough to survive even a Wild Growth Walker into a Jade Light Phoenix. And sure enough, my opponent only has the Merfolk Branch Walker, which puts him up to 10, but not near enough. And unfortunately, scries a Chupacabra to the top of their deck there, which would have saved them if it had been 1 turn earlier. Yeah, so that was the game. We ended up winning 2-1 versus Green-Black Midrange. Tough series, especially that third game, but it was pretty fun, and we advanced to 3-1. So I will see you next round. I'd like to thank you guys for watching. I will see you later.